Welcome to Subramani. Some of the characteristics that I have seen or observed over last 40 years of my investment journey. Obviously, must not have been a great observer in the first few years, so ignore that portion. After that, I met a lot of investors and I talked to them and I asked them. One question which I always ask is, what is your attitude towards money and what do you think is success? And I've got amazingly good answers for that from people who are educated, from people who are not educated but made a lot of money. I've got very, very different and very, very good answers. So what are the characteristics that I have seen in good investors? I mean, when I say good investors, I mean extremely long periods of time, right? So first and the foremost, which I would think, which I don't know whether any other writer has ever said, is grit. G-R-I-T. In fact, if it is one thing which you can teach your children for them to be successful, is grit. Staying through the market, staying through life during bad times is not a small thing, right? So I can say it's been a major achievement for me that I've been an investor from 1979, so 21 plus 24, 45 years. Obviously, the worst period would have been, I think, 1992 to 2001, 2002. Of course, I still was not so badly off compared to the index because I still had some FMCG, pharma, etc., where I was not too badly off. Similarly, in 2002 to 2007, I was riding some of the funds of some of the funds of Prashant Jain, which helped me from 2007 onwards when the markets were not doing too well. But your pharma and FMCG helped, which did not do anything from 2000 to 2007. So the grit, the ability to sit tight over long periods of time is something which good investors, great investors have. Second is curiosity. I used to be very curious about many things, but now I am not at all happy with the amount of curiosity which I have. Maybe because I have more to lose now. So when somebody comes out and says, oh, this Zomato is a good thing, luckily I put in some money, but I was not very keen that I was not very sure that I would make money. With Paytm, I did not understand the model. I tried reading, understanding, talking, but didn't help. So I did not buy, but I bought it after it crashed, and then I have not been doing too badly. Similarly, you have to be curious to know what is happening, right? If you don't know, if you're not curious, for example, it's curiosity which took me to invest in Tata Steel when they bought Chorus, and then I realized that maybe they were too much, they've bitten too much. Then so I am completely out of Tata Steel. Maybe I've left with the last 1,000 shares. But yes, Tata Steel is no longer there as a major portion of my portfolio. In fact, I preferred a JSW over this. So some curiosity as to what the management is doing, how they are going to handle it, that is important, and what is the business, right? Both of that is necessary. So grit and then curiosity. Next one is one amazing experience I had was going to the Supreme Court 5 times for 5 different people, I mean as a professional, and I realized that you should not trust people so easily. So being a chartered accountant meant that when you went to audit, whether it was a Larsen & Toubro or a Crompton Greaves, you started very skeptically saying, is he trying to hide something? Is she trying to hide something from me? Are they overvaluing the inventory? Are they undervaluing the inventory? Have they committed a different number to the board which now they want to meet? Are they playing games with me? This skepticism which comes from doing CA is a fantastic virtue to carry all through your investing career. Whenever you look at a promoter, you know he's going to say the nice things. So asking him that 5 years back you said this didn't happen. You said you're going to be a big defense contractor. The defense contracts don't seem to have come. As a group, you're not capable of bribing your way through getting defense contracts. How will you handle it? Right? These are all questions. Skepticism, will you bribe to get my business, will you not bribe to get business, right? These are all questions which you're supposed to ask, and ask consistently, and don't trust your management for very long periods of time. But after you trust them, don't even bother with quarterly results. Like I don't even look at the quarterly results of a P&G, Gillette or a Colgate, where Gillette has not done as well as say a Colgate. Right. So skepticism, saying how the company will do, what it will do, how much to trust it, these are questions which are very important for you to answer. Have independence. Once you are under a banner, you are trapped as to what the banner wants you to think, right? So if you are trapped under a banner of an investment banker or a merchant banker is perhaps even worse, then when you get a mandate to do an IPO, you have to be optimistic about that company and the IPO, though in your hearts you think that that company is not going to make any money. So when you have independence, and you have one other advantage, you don't have conflict of interest. For example, if I were running a big investment banking, merchant banking, broking and managing money for people, I would have had conflict of interest. When you're doing an investment banking, you know what is happening in the deal. When you're doing merchant banking, you know that you're supposed to make sure that they get enough money and they are able to list within 30 days or 40 days, whatever. After that, your job is over. But actually after that, your relationship with the shareholders and with the company starts. So having that independence is useful, and having that independence means you can speak your mind on everything on a case to case basis. Completely digressing, but look at what has happened to Kangana Ranaut. Kangana Ranaut made some statements about the farmers' agitation. The BJP came down on her like a ton of bricks. She's trying to release a movie. They have coming down on her, and maybe she's, at least as of now, when I'm shooting this on 2nd or 3rd of September, we don't have any data about her 6 September release. In fact, it's not releasing. So once you come under an umbrella, you are caught. So if you are under a big banner, you will have to say things which the market wants you to hear, from you, right? So you have to be careful about that. So having independence is useful. I'm not under any banner, so I can say nice things about a company or bad things about a company, right? So that is a huge advantage. Another thing which I think Ken Fisher says, he says the market is the great humiliator. Right. So exactly when you think that you have understood the market comes and slaps you. So to make sure that you don't get insulted by the market, you have to be humble. When you get good returns, you keep analyzing, was it luck or was it skill? In my case, I think a lot of it was luck. Being born in Bombay, living in Ghatkopar, right, all those things gave you advantages, and then slowly building a Rolodex. Today nobody uses a Rolodex. Using your database, knowing whom to call for which share, right. I don't remember who said this, but having the names of 2 people whom you can talk to is worth at least 2 months of research or 2 weeks of research, whatever. So building that is very useful, and there will be somebody who keeps you very humble by saying this is nonsense, what you're doing is completely wrong, your asset allocation is completely wrong, you need to have more in debt, to have more in real estate, gold, etc., whatever. So that kind of a review keeps you humble, right? So humility while approaching the market is a very important thing. The discipline to do whatever you're doing, whether it is making videos to be put regularly or anything else in life, the discipline is very helpful, very useful. I have found it useful. I found many investors who say every month I will invest 5 lakhs, I will invest 10 lakhs. I know such people. Come what may, they will make those investments, right? So having the discipline to read, having the discipline to invest regularly, having the discipline not to worry too much about what the market is doing, right? So accumulating during tough times, during bad times, etc., the discipline, and of course the patience and the EQ, right? I think Charlie Munger says the intelligence is more about the patience, right? So being patient and sitting through tough times is important, but at the same time having the courage to admit that you made a mistake, right? So that courage is huge, absolutely necessary. So somewhere midway in life I realized that a guy who is not paying the institutions, who is not treating his employees well, will not treat his shareholders well, or he treat her shareholders well. And another thing which I have seen when checking out with companies is the ego of the promoter in not even admitting that the mistake mistakes that he makes. It is the important learning for you to have the patience, but along with it the courage to say, oh, I think I thought that Colgate and Gillette work in similar markets, etc., etc., but anyway Colgate has worked and Gillette has not. Maybe Gillette will work next year. So depending on your ability to hold over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you may have to exit Colgate or exit Gillette depending on your money availability, and the courage to accept that, look, I thought these two companies are similar, one worked, one didn't work. So getting out of shares is also something which requires some courage, because without courage you will just stick around and say, oh, I hope it will recover, and we all know that hope is not really a great strategy, or it doesn't work, right? Thank you.